Alright, so let me ask you something. When you hear the brand Redmagic, what comes into your mind first? Gaming phone, right? Well, did you know that they are now expanding their product line targeting PC gamers as well? Earlier this year, they announced that they are going to release a set of gaming peripherals, including a gaming mousepad, mouse, keyboard, and monitor. And today, we finally got the chance to check out two of those peripherals with Redmagic's take on a gaming mechanical keyboard and mouse. The Redmagic mechanical keyboard features an unorthodox 1800 layout with swappable sockets, a gasket mount design, and uses fast TTC Speed Silver V2 switches and some extra bells and whistles with a customizable display and volume knob. The Redmagic gaming mouse, on the other hand, features a 75 grams two-tone construction with a unique translucent top shell. It also uses a reliable sensor with a PixArt PAW3395 sensor and uses KLGM 8.0 Black Mamba micro switches. Both these peripherals feature tri-mode connectivity. Now the question is, are they good enough to compete with the likes of the Asus ROG, Razer, Logitech, or even the Mountain Everest? Well, let's find out. Let's get into it. Now, the Deskmat of choice for this video is the new felt Deskmat from Alpha Unlimited. This is not sponsored, but I always find myself eager to feature local brands here in the Philippines. This one in particular is not yet available in Shopee, but it features a nice felt fabric with an additional anti-slip rubber base in a standard 900 by 400mm dimensions. I'll put some links below once it becomes available. Now, the unboxing experience for the Redmagic mechanical keyboard, much like their gaming phones, is really nice. Something that I always appreciate from Redmagic. We have a shiny silver box here for the mechanical keyboard with an image in front, some branding around, and the key features at the back. Upon opening the slide-up type packaging, you'll see the mechanical keyboard itself, protected by a plastic dust cover and a soft touch plastic. We also have the user manual here, which I'll give you a couple of seconds to take a screenshot. And lastly, we have this accessory box that houses the switch and keycap puller and the braided coiled cable with a velcro strap. At first look and touch, what we have here is a full-sized 1800 layout keyboard with an unorthodox layout. We have a regular numpad here, but to accommodate the display and volume knob, they had to move the nav cluster keys here. The rest is pretty standard, the arrow keys, function rows up top, and the alphanumeric keys. A very clever design decision indeed. So we have a customizable knob and a 1.47-inch display right here. We'll take a closer look at this later. Now we also have some subtle accents around, including the brushed aluminum top plate on top of a translucent plastic chassis. We even have some gamer characters around, like the model name on this corner and Redmagic's Win More Games slogan right here. Not to mention, we also have an LED accent lining here, which adds to the overall gamery aesthetic. I also appreciate the fonts used on this keyboard, as well as the overall design of the keycap set. They used a mildly gamery font rather than using the more aggressive Redmagic font, which I think is a good decision. Honestly, this is probably one of the better looking gaming keyboards I've seen in a while. It looks like your typical gaming keyboard at first glance, but in a not so corny and cheap way. Looking at the front side, we have a Redmagic logo right here, and you can also get an idea that the chassis is secured via plastic clips. Flipping it on the left side, as you can tell, the chassis features a slanted form factor for a more comfortable typing experience. It also features a brushed aluminum side design that perfectly matches the one on the top cover. Looking at the back side, we have this sort of sandwich plastic construction between the top and bottom covers and the inner chassis. We also have the switch for the tri-mode connectivity and the USB Type-C port beside it. Turning it to the bottom, we will see more of that gamery aesthetic with a good amount of rubber fit around. We also have 4 flip-out stands, 2 of which are shorter, and all of them have rubber tips as well. We also have the 2.4 GHz USB dongle here, nicely tucked inside. I don't think it's magnetic though, and more like a friction type compartment. And of course, we have all of those gaming accents around and the technical details right at the center. Going back in front, let's take a closer look at the keycaps. What we have here is a two-tone keycap, and if I have to guess, I think it is made out of a combination of PBT plastic with dye sublimated legends for the top part and polycarbonate plastic for the translucent part. One of the most unique and interesting keycap construction that I've seen so far. Although I don't know how I feel about this fingerprint magnet glossy finish. The thickness is around 1.3 to 1.5 millimeters. In terms of the switches, I like what they used here. They used TTC Speed Silver V2 with an actuation force of just around 45 grams with a significantly reduced pre-travel distance of around 1.08 millimeters and a total travel distance of around 3.4mm, perfect for fast-paced gaming. But more than that, what I like the most here is that it is noticeably smooth out of the box, one of the smoothest stock switches I've tried on a pre-built gaming keyboard. Looking closer, we have a 2-stage spring, and it looks like it has some lube at the bottom. The stem is also lubed, but mostly on the legs only. But when you look closely at the bottom housing, it looks like it also has some faint lube. Regardless, again, a very smooth switch out of the box. Now, the PCB, as you can tell, is at swappable, but features a north-facing orientation. So using short pole switches with cherry profile keycaps with this keyboard will result in some unwanted plastic-to-plastic interference. Aside from the switches, the stabilizers are also substantially lubricated out of the factory and are also one of the better ones both in terms of sound and feel when it comes to gaming keyboards. Here's a quick sound test. Now, I tried my best to figure out how to tear this keyboard apart without damaging it, but from the way it is built with no visible screws aside from the ones on the brushed aluminum accent on top and with hidden plastic clips all around, not to mention the lack of guide online, I decided not to do it. Besides, I honestly feel like it is completely unnecessary to tear this keyboard apart since it already sounds and feels pretty good out of the box. Thanks to the gasket mount design, the very good switches and stabilizers, and the overall compactness of this keyboard. Alright, now let's move on to its features and functionalities. Again, here's a quick glimpse at the user manual for your reference. In terms of connectivity, you can connect up to 3 devices via Bluetooth and another one via the 2.4 GHz USB dongle. Pairing is pretty straightforward and switching between devices is pretty snappy. In terms of illumination, you can toggle different lighting effects by pressing FN plus insert, change color using FN plus delete, and adjust speed and brightness using the arrow keys. Here's how the illumination looks in different lighting conditions. Unfortunately, I don't think we can control the LED lining up top separately. To reset the keyboard, just press and hold FN plus escape. Now let's talk about the 1.47-inch display. I'm not exactly sure what type of panel this one uses, and I can't seem to find any useful info about it online. But if I have to guess, it looks like an OLED panel to me, especially after uploading my logo to it with a deep black background. In terms of functionalities, we have volume adjustment, then performance, wherein you can display system statistics, more on that later, and you can also switch between lighting effects here and adjust the brightness and speed of the lighting effects, as well as the colors. Those 3 settings are redundant in my opinion. You can also change the language here and turn the screensaver image on and off. If I have to be perfectly honest, I feel like the features and functionalities of this display are kind of underwhelming and for the most part, pretty basic. First, you cannot go past the menu when you rotate the knob all the way to the end. You'll have to rotate it counterclockwise to reach the start, which I find annoying at times. Second, while it has some cool pre-installed Redmagic images, the display only supports static images, especially PNG. Yes, you can upload a GIF file, but it simply won't show the animation, which is kind of a bummer. It can also take up to a whopping 5 minutes for your custom image to finish uploading, which takes away from the otherwise fun experience. Another thing, the system performance display, while useful, is rather incomplete. Some of these stats here are not showing up, and you also have to use it in wired mode with the software installed. It also only works in Windows. So yeah, I think this display, at least for now, is not yet ready to compete with the likes of the ROG Azoth. On the good side in terms of performance, this keyboard is outstanding. NKRO works on all modes, Bluetooth, 2.4 GHz, and wired. You can press multiple keys at the same time without conflicts, which means it's ideal for fast-paced games and rhythm games and fast typers as well. Now, during the time of my testing, I didn't encounter any issues when it comes to wire stability and overall performance, which is good. Another good thing here is that we have a single software for both the keyboard and mouse via the Redmagic Cloud driver. Inside the software, you can adjust the power saving settings, reset the keyboard, and update firmware. And we can also see here the current mode and the remaining battery life. As for customization, you can toggle different lighting effects here and adjust brightness, speed, and color. You can also customize the keys to function differently, like system shortcuts, multimedia shortcuts, macro, and pretty much all the basic stuff. Interestingly, all the keys are customizable, even the FN key. For the volume knob, we only have volume and lighting effects adjustments. Pretty basic, I would say. And for the screen, as I've pointed out earlier, it will take up to 5 minutes for your custom images to get uploaded, and it only supports static images. I'll share with you my conclusion about this keyboard later, but for now, let's go ahead and check out the gaming mouse. The packaging for the Redmagic gaming mouse shares the same characteristic as the mechanical keyboard's packaging, with some image previews around and the key features at the back. It also features a slide type packaging, and inside it we have the gaming mouse itself and an accessory box. Inside the accessory box, we have the user manual, some replacement mouse gliders, and optional rubber grip tape, a USB-A to USB-C adapter, and a lightweight paracord cable for wired mode. At first look and touch, what caught my eyes first is the rather glaring glossy finish on the transparent top shell, which of course has its pros and cons. More on that later. The cover for the buttons, on the other hand, features a nice matte finish. The primary buttons feature the Kill GM 8.0 Black Mamba micro switches, which are an easy to activate switch and offers a low pitch sound with decent tactile feedback. The scroll wheel offers good enough tactile notches, easy to press button, and without any annoying wobble or squeaking sounds. Now, with the transparent top shell, you'll see a glimpse of the internals that embodies the iconic transparent design language of Redmagic's gaming phones. However, I honestly feel like it is a design flaw when implemented like this on a gaming mouse. As per my experience, it is extremely uncomfortable to hold, especially during sweaty gaming sessions, and just feels disgustingly clammy. Your mileage may vary of course, depending on how sweaty your hand is, but I can still imagine, even without sweat, it can easily look awful with fingerprints and smudges. The included anti-slip rubber tape might help, but won't be able to cover everything. Moving past that, looking at the left side, you'll get an idea about its overall shape, especially the relatively short bump around the center. We also have here the forward and back buttons that are nicely placed and are easy to activate. Looking at the back, it features a symmetrical shape but is still geared towards right-handed users since we don't have buttons on the right side. Turning it in front, as you can see, the bump is quite short. We also have the USB Type-C port here with a substantial size cutout around it. Flipping it at the bottom, we have 3 mouse gliders, which by the way have a protective film that you need to remove. We also have here the switch for the tri-mode connectivity, the PAW3395 sensor, and the TPI button with a small LED indicator above it. We also have the 2.4 GHz USB dongle here inside this compartment that is annoyingly hard to take out, honestly. I wish they just made this magnetic rather than using friction. If you put it in the wrong orientation without something to pull it off, you'll have a hard time. Now in terms of weight, it weighs around 75 grams, which perfectly matches its specifications. Thanks to its relatively long body, short pump, and generally familiar shape, it is fairly flexible when it comes to grip styles. Depending on the size of your hand, you can use it in palm, fingertip, and claw grip styles. Now, if in case you want to use it in wired mode, let's say you run out of battery, the paracord cable is lightweight and flexible enough to not get in the way. Alternatively, you can also use the cable with a USB adapter to have the USB dongle closer for better wireless stability. Now, in terms of RGB lighting, it features subtle LED lighting on the Redmagic logo and a couple here that looks like squinting eyes. This turns on when the mouse is static and automatically turns off whenever you start to use the mouse, which is pretty clever. Now, before I share with you my gaming experience with it, here's a quick sound test for you guys. Alright, so as per my testing, I honestly had a hard time adjusting to this. I don't know if it's the shape, relatively heavier weight, or simply because I cannot properly hold it due to its slippery glossy finish. It took me several Valorant death matches to get used to it and place first, but even then, I wasn't too comfortable. Sensor performance wise, I don't think we have a problem here since I can still feel how snappy and responsive it is. The switches are also nice, even the scroll wheel. But it was just too clammy for my liking, and I had to wipe it clean every now and then, so yeah. Now in terms of the software, we pretty much have all we need here to take advantage of the 3395 sensor. We have macro recordings, we have customizable buttons with essentially the same options we have for the keyboard, customizable lighting, although in this instance it is written in Chinese, and we have the most important settings here like DPI up to 26,000, adjustable increments of 50, polling rate up to 1000 Hz, sleep timer, and lift off distance. We also have the mode info and battery level here. So overall, to conclude, the Redmagic mechanical keyboard is pretty decent to say the least, especially for a company's first try to expand its product lineup into the highly competitive PC gaming market space. The keyboard offers an aesthetically pleasing design with good build construction and outstanding sound and feel out of the box. It also tried its best to come up with all the bells and whistles to compete with other brands with its customizable display and volume knob. However, I feel like it is not yet fully ready for prime time. The display needs more usable features and a more polished user interface. The software needs more customization support, especially animated images, not to mention faster upload times. The $200 price tag could have been justified if the display has more usable features and could probably be a good cheaper alternative to ROG Azoth and Mountain Everest Max, which are both priced at around $249. But if you don't need the display, for all the other good things it has to offer, the Redmagic mechanical keyboard is still a pretty good option. On the other side of things, the Redmagic gaming mouse has a lot of potential and offers pretty much all the bare essentials any gamer needs, but with one glaring flaw. It uses a reliable sensor, features tri-mode connectivity, is fairly lightweight, and is outstandingly built with an aesthetically pleasing design as well. However, the glossy finish in my opinion is an unfortunate oversight. I appreciate the goal of having a consistent transparent design across all products, but not on a gaming mouse, at least not how it was implemented here. Maybe next time put the transparent part at the bottom. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Full disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video, but Redmagic did send these two products for me to share with you my honest thoughts. You can get these using the links below. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate the effort I put into this video, and see you next time. Have a great day guys, you're awesome.